Well, it says I'm live. We shall wait and see. What I really need to do is to actually go and look. Oh, that's crunchy. Sorry about that, if anybody's listening. Let's just go on. So we'll just wait and see if anybody actually comes in. Just having a little prat about this evening. Hey Xylon, don't know if you can hear me. Oh, there I am. God, no. It's kind of heading that way now. I've got rid of a shed load. Still got a Prusa Mini and a few other bits and pieces downstairs, but haven't fired anything up in the longest time. And I just thought this evening I would just crank up the old machine and just see who was about. And so far, there's just you. I'm sure the audio is terrible. I'm sure the video is terrible. Everything I own is so out of date now. So it's kind of potato cam and everything that goes with it. You have 17. Yeah, I was kind of up about that level at one point. Prior to getting the X1, in fairness, what I did was I sold a lot of printers that I had just to buy the X1, because kind of thought, well, this is all you need. You don't need a lot more than one printer really. Certainly with the X1, because of just how decent it is. So yeah, I sold lots, which, as I'm sure you're aware, you try selling printers second hand, you don't get a great deal of money for them. But I managed to get just about enough together to buy the X1 when it first came out. But yeah, since then it's kind of been gathering dust. I kind of lost my 3D printing mojo a bit. Lots changed at home over the period of the last sort of 6 months. And just sort of fell out of love with it. But you know. So what sort of build volume are you after, and what sort of machine are you looking at that gives you the necessary build volume? And how much do I bet you were hoping that the new the new Bambu Labs machine was going to be an XL, and of course it wasn't. That must have been really annoying. Oh, nice one. Excellent. Well, I know everyone are producing a very large scale printer at the moment that they're working on. If you're not in any of the Facebook groups for everyone, you need to go and have a look at what they're doing. They are working on a big format printer. Quite when it's going to be available, I don't know, because they're still doing lots of tests on it. But yeah, it exists and it seems to print rather nicely. Sorry, I'm just faffing. GratKit sent me a roll of PETG. Which is very nice of them. Every now and again I get messages from people like that going, would you like to try this, Matt? And it's like, well, I can try it, I can give you feedback on it, but you know, I don't do the YouTube thing really anymore. So it's not going to get a lot of people looking at it, but by all means I'll have a look, and they're happy enough to send it to me, so I'm happy enough to run it through a machine and let them know what I think. It's only fair really, isn't it? What I don't like is this blooming cling film they've got on it. This cling wrap that they've put around the outside of it is becoming an absolute nightmare to get off. Yeah, go on their Facebook group, and quite often they'll, if you're new to them and you haven't tried their filament before, they will generally give you a code for Amazon, or they might just send you a spool just to give you something to you know, might just give you something to play with. They're very good like that. Like I say, if you've not had anything from them before and you say you're interested and tell them how many printers you've got and you know what you do, they're more than likely to say, "Yep, just send us your address," and they'll send you something out. They're very good like that. Like I say, I got a roll of Tricolour from them when that first came out, the Tricolour Silk, and that was really good. Really enjoyed that. Hey Ron, thanks for joining. It's nice to see some familiar faces. I am literally just fanning, messing about. I'm unspooling this just to get this plastic wrap off it. Well, there's no point me trying to show you. Well, I could try to show you it. It's what it is a pain in the arse. Oh, hang on, let me get it on the camera. This stuff here. This is just an absolute nightmare. I'm through about the third roll trying to get it all off. Anyway, that might actually work now. So, just trying to work out what camera I'm on, and I've just realised I'm looking at the wrong camera, which is very intelligent of me, isn't it? I was looking at the Razor that I've got set up here, and I'm actually coming through on my little old Logitech sat down here. Like I say, everything I own is so many years out of date now. It's laughable, really. So, what is everyone's thoughts on Bambu's new machine then? I know it's been all over the interweb this week, one way and another. Well, I say this week. I mean, the last 24 hours, really. It all went a bit interesting, didn't it? With the next layer releasing his video early and then taking it back down again. And all those wonderful things. Right. So yeah, what do you think about the A1 Mini? Too small. Yeah, I mean, I can see where they're going with it. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Is that people like us, we're not entry-level people anymore, are we? I mean, I did twitch when I saw it. You have that sort of immediate, ooh, I'd like to try that, but I stopped myself from doing it. But yeah, I think as a concept for first-time 3D printer owners, I think it's going to do them well. I think they're going to do very well out of it. I think the Prusa Mini may suffer. I mean, Prusa has the name, but then for people coming first time into 3D printing, do they really know who Prusa is? You know, it's that sort of situation. I mean, like I say, for guys like us, I mean, I've been on all the forums ever since they started whispering about it, and everyone's going, oh, you know, we want a large format printer from them, we want a large format printer from them, but that isn't what they were going for. You know, they really weren't going for people like us that have got printers and had printers and sold printers and, you know, upgraded and updated and have print farms and, you know, all that kind of thing. They're really not interested in that with this machine. This machine is for, you know, your new users, and I think it'll do them well. Yeah, the Focus was, or however you wish to say it. I mean, I've said it several ways in the past. I always like the look of that. always seemed to be, a, without being rude, a very basic machine, but a very robust machine. Looked pretty much bomb-proof. Um, it wasn't all um, clever, exciting, flashy. It was simple. It was straightforward. It did the job. But I think maybe now, with the way things are, I think people want that sort of slightly more flashy design cues that the A1's got. It's almost like that Apple-esque thing, isn't it? The smooth edges, that kind of thing. I mean, I always used to big up the Ender 2 in its day. I thought the Ender 2 was a cracking machine. Very basic, but for what you needed for a beginner's machine, it was absolutely ideal. But they then bought that back out again, and it was bloody awful. Currently, I'm recommending the SVO6 or the King Rune. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm sure you'll find as well as I do that the problem is that if you say to somebody, buy this machine, and then they buy it, the next thing is you get I can't get this to work, I can't get that to work. How do you do this? How do you do that? I mean, it's the same thing with selling your printers second hand. Is that once you get into doing that, you become their support network for at least the next 2-3 months until they realise that you're not going to talk to them anymore. But yeah, you get it with if you ever sell, like I say, a second-hand machine. You know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get message after message after message. Oh, this doesn't quite work and that doesn't quite work. I mean, I've sold lots. I mean, I must have sold 10 printers, and probably 7 out of those 10 people were on to me for 6 months afterwards. Oh, I've got this, I've got filament stuck, or the bed adhesion suddenly stopped, and it's like, kind of out of my hands now. You've had it. You have to go on the same journey that the rest of us have been on, and you have to go to those forums and get all that wrong information from people and work it out for yourself. Because if you rely on me for the rest of your life, you'll never learn anything. I wish I was in a position to give them away. Like I say, I went through, as I'm sure you're aware. I mean, if you have been following me for the umpteen years I've been doing this, you will know that I had my fair share of machines given to me by companies. In the early days, G-Tech were very, very forward at giving machines away. I mean, I was trying to explain this to somebody on X, whatever it is, Twitter, whatever it is now, a while ago, that why, because somebody asked why I was getting disillusioned with YouTube and why I'd stopped doing it and why I'd kind of stopped having the energy that I used to have. And it was basically when 3D printing started to take off. I was in quite early on, and the Chinese manufacturers were giving machines to absolutely anybody who had a YouTube channel to try and get their names out there. And like I say, I started off with G-Tech. I'm trying to think of the first printer I had. I had an ANET, which I built myself, because you did in those days. The only printer really that was available was an ANET. And I started with that, and then I got a CR10, and when I got my CR10 is when I started doing videos. Sorry about that, this headset keeps switching itself off when it feels like it, so we'll have moments of silence, but hopefully I'll pick up on them. Yeah, so G-Tech got in contact with me and said, can we send you a machine, can you look at it for us, because you clearly know what you're talking about. Didn't really. But yeah, I got 4 or 5 machines off G-Tech, um, in at the house burner. I've still got it. There's a story behind that which I'll talk about very shortly. Um, so yeah, G-Tech. Yeah, absolutely, Zolon. This is how it worked for me. Um, and so, like I say, they sent me 4 or 5, and then when I had 4 or 5 from them, everyone when they first started, they sent me one of their first machines, which was needed for a fair bit of work. So I kind of I did a bit of work with everyone, and then one thing led to another, and I ended up I had quite a few machines. But then what happened from my point of view is because I'm in the UK. The UK market for 3D printers is incredibly small, and once 3D printing really took off in America, these companies were really only interested in sending machines to American YouTube people, because that's where the fan base was. That's where they were selling their machines. So they suddenly decided that a UK YouTuber, wasn't getting enough of a footprint in the States, and therefore I stopped getting machines, which is entirely understandable. Um, but yeah, it would have been nice if a few of them. I mean, what they don't realise is, although I think I've only got about 3,000 subs now. Um, a good percentage of those subs were actually from the States, and they the Americans that watched me liked my slightly different English approach to streaming and chatting and doing videos and reviews and stuff. And I had a core base of subscribers that was really good, but like I say, the Chinese companies just decided that I wasn't what they wanted because I wasn't in America and I wasn't pushing those figures. So it dried up, and yeah, kind of lost interest myself, just because of not so much because of that, but it does. I mean, I still print stuff. I still print stuff and design stuff for myself, but I kind of my mojo went because I was trying as hard as everybody else, but just not getting the viewing figures. And once you start to take off in America, and you start getting those viewing figures, and then you get a bit of money in from your revenue, and then you can upgrade your cameras, and you can upgrade your audio gear, and it sort of snowballs. And unfortunately, like I say, there are probably maybe 3 or 4 UK channels that I'm aware of that are anything over about 40,000 subs. Whereas you start looking at the States and you think how many YouTube channels there are over there with 40, 50, 60, 70, 100,000 subs. There's an awful lot more. But I'm not bitter about it. It's just how the cookie crumbles. I was lucky, got in early, got a lot of the early machines, and it was brilliant. It was a great time. Thoroughly enjoyed getting a machine early on, and being one of the first to show it and one of the first to showcase it, and stripping them down and showing people the guts inside them. And it was a fun and an exciting time, which was good. But like I say, it just dropped off a bit. So I was sat in my room this evening, and I just watched somebody actually strip down the new A1. And he's a UK YouTuber. Somebody I call a friend. We've met a couple of times in passing at 3D printing events in the UK. And Adam is going through a bit of a tough time at the moment, with one thing or another, with medical issues. But he got sent one, and he did a sort of unboxing of it yesterday when everybody else had done the reviews, because he's not healthy enough to be able to spend a lot of time sitting playing with machines at the moment. So he got his review machine. He unboxed it live last night, and then this evening for a couple of hours, he took it to pieces, and he's sort of left it all sprawled out over his desk. And then tomorrow he's going to put it all back together again. But yeah, this if you haven't seen it, it's Vector 3D printing. If I can find a link to his channel, I will stick it in for you, because he is a very intelligent bloke. There he is. I'll put a link to his video. Just bear with me while I try and work out how to do this as an idiot. So if I share and I copy that link, there we go. So I get there. I do that and do that. Now I don't necessarily expect you to run away and watch it now. I'd quite like you to stay and listen to my ramblings for the next several years. But yeah, it's yeah, he was live about it was about 3 o'clock UK time, or 3:30 UK time, and he stayed on for a couple of hours. But he's torn that thing to pieces. It's all over his desk. He can't do more than sort of a couple of hours streaming now because of his health issues. So he's got it all in bits, all over his desk, and then hopefully tomorrow he's going to come back on and spend a couple of hours hopefully putting it back together again. But yeah, real nice guy. Like I say, met him a couple of times in Birmingham at the very few 3D printing events that we have in the UK. And real nice, genuine guy, really intelligent, very mild-mannered, very pleasant to talk to, and quite fun at the same time. I couldn't manage to get him to come out for a drink with me. I think probably at the time I was a bit overpowering, because I can be. Yeah, me overpowering. But yeah, hopefully there's a RepRap festival in the UK coming up at Christmas, which I'm sure you've all heard about, which is the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation one with E3D, and I'm planning on going to that. It's about 3.5 hours drive from where I live, but I have a little camper van. So what I've planned to do is drive down, stay in the camper van, go to the event for 2 days, and then drive back up again. And I'm sure I'll probably be the only one there that's staying in a camper van. James, evening fella. But yeah, it's going to be a good event. I've got a ticket. It's just the logistics of, because it's early December. So the weather in the UK in early December can be a bit dodgy. So driving down, keeping in a camper van for 2 nights might be a little bit interesting, but we'll see. I'm certainly planning on doing it, and I'm kind of hoping that Adam will be A, fit enough to be able to go, and B, want to go. I'm sure James is thinking about it. But it would be nice, because a lot of the big American YouTubers are making an effort to get there. Chris Riley and people like that are planning on being there, and it would be nice just to meet up with them, because we chat online, but actually meeting them in the flesh would be cool. You haven't decided whether you're going or not yet, Jay. Well, like I say, I've got a ticket, mate. It's a 3.5 hour drive from where I am, but got the motorhome, so I found a site I can park up, which is about a 10-minute walk away from where everything's happening. So, I'll get there if I can. I mean, as you know, James, when you met me at Birmingham all those years ago, I'm a bit of a nutter and a bit of a party animal, and I appreciate that not everybody's quite so lively as me. But yeah, if you're down there, mate, we'll have a quiet beer if that's what you would prefer. Yeah, because the second night was a bit full on, I've got to say. the last time we were at Birmingham, the last time they did it. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, mate. I mean, I looked at trains down and one thing or another, but it was 3 or 4 changes on trains and stuff, and it was just like, do you know what? I can book a campsite for 20 quid a night and drive down in motorhome, so that's probably what I'll end up doing. And I've even considered, I don't know what everybody thinks about this, I did a short a while ago about running a Prusa Mini off a power pack. I have a 2000 amp hour, 2000 kilowatt power pack, which you can charge in about an hour and 20 minutes. And I can actually run a Prusa Mini off it, actually off the inverter that's on it. I can get about, I think I worked it out to 21 hours. So I was kind of thinking that maybe it would be quite cool if I do go to actually set that up on the table in the back of the camper van and actually start a print when I set off from here, a 3.5 hour print, and see if it actually works and then finishes by the time I get down there to the festival, and just have one print going. Sanjay based, I would hope. Pick, it's a Sanjay bust or I don't know, some sort of tile or something for him, but print it on the way down. And I thought that would be quite cool if I could actually put that into being. That mobile, sat in the camper van, driving 3.5 hours, printer glued, screwed, nailed, whatever, to the table, and just go for that. Wish I could go, but saving for my trip to Japan, 2 weeks backpacking. Oh, that must be so cool. I'd love to do something like that. Unfortunately, getting 2 weeks off in a row in weather that's bearable in Japan just doesn't work with my job and my lifestyle, unfortunately. Things like that just don't happen. I'm just going to go and chuck this in the AMS behind my head. Just bear with me. I might go a bit clunky for a second. And I'm back in the room. Well, bits of me are anyway. Yeah, no, Japan would be lovely. There's lots of places I'd like to go, and I'm sure when I get to a certain age, I'll be able to do that. Gosh, I do love you, Bamboo, but you are noisy. Oh, and you've now jammed. Excuse me. Just bear with me again 2 seconds. User error! Oh, we don't like user error, do we? Let's try that again. That's better. There we go. Excellent. Sorry about that, guys. Where's my brains gone? Right, yes, sorry about that. Must apologise. This is my second trip to Japan, being too long. Last trip was in 2005 during fall of 2024. That must be so much fun. I mean, I'm guessing that you don't just hop on a plane and go over there and hike. I'm sure you've got plans afoot and places you want to visit and places to stay and stuff like that. Oh no, you see, you're not PLA. There we go. At least it's loaded. Oh, I tell you what, this Bamboo Labs thing's changed since I last went on it. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Wow, righto. I have no idea what I've got on here. It has been so long since I've fired anything up. Skynet packages. Skynet 3D package. Ooh. There's only one person on here that's going to remember that. Hey, James. Right, where am I looking? Where is my 3D files? There is a game plan. It also helps when your friend lives there for a year. Oh no, that's excellent. Yeah, if you've got boots on the ground, as it were, that must be great. I thought I had a drive that was all 3D printing. It looks like my computer has dumped a drive out. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm a drive down. Well, that's a bit of a nightmare. Oh, James, those were the days, weren't they? Hey, those were the days. So, yeah, I appear to have lost a drive. It's got all my 3D printing files on it. That is a bit of a nightmare. So that makes printing anything a little bit difficult. What's a man to do? I also seem to have lost all my filament files as well. Ah, well, this is going well, isn't it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, that is a bit of a beggar. So I can't even test to see if the machine works because I haven't got a single file. So I'm going to have to go and find something, I suppose. Oh, let's have a look. I've just deafened myself as well. See, my brain's gone completely dead. I don't even know where I'm going to find one anymore. Right, so let's go to printables. You see, it's coming back to me now. Slowly but surely, it's coming back to me. Does everybody still use printables? Or is there something new that I don't know about? Oh, well, my login still works. If you ever want to find me on Printables, just look up my my handle is I'm no filament frenzy, which was a joke between me and Filament Frenzy because I actually got on before he did and I was going to steal his handle and I stopped myself. Right, come on, something, just jump out at me. Something simple, easy to print. Let's just see if this printer will actually work. Right, we'll go for that. Little stylized, cute dinosaur. We want short legs, I think, because dinosaurs should have short legs. So that's on down, okay. So then if I go back to Bamboo Labs and click on that and click on downloads, you see it's all coming back to me now. Like there we go. Short leg dino. Oh my god, he's massive. Right, we don't want him that big. Let's scale him to 50%. Sorry, this must be so exciting for you guys. You know, I don't know how you're managing. Oh, you're not. That's why I'm down to 2 viewers. Marvellous. Yeah, I know cool plate's not suggested, but I don't care. Slice. God, I believe I'm living dangerously. That's all cool. Yeah, I know cool plate's not suggested, but I want you to do it anyway. It's not going to have it. It's not going to have it. Let's try doing on engineering plate then. So I've now got to go and turn my plate over. Marvellous. So, while there are still 2 of you in the room, Derek! Good evening. Just want to check audio and video is passable, really. Don't need to know much more. Right, I'm just going to go and flip this build plate over. I'm glad to hear it, mate. Glad to hear it. I'm glad you got on board with it. Right, let's just see. Yeah. Right, now can't connect to printer. Alright. Okay. Is that because I've done an update on the printer? Probably. Home. Wi-Fi's on. So why am I not being able to find it? Print plate. Please click each filament above to specify its mapping AMS slot so it is in. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm no good at this. that is generic. Pet G. Confirm. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Right, sorry, I was miles away. I'm glad you are. Excellent. Yes, we're up to 3 people, so that's going to be me. I don't know whether James is still here, whether James has run away. Yeah, me, Derek, and Canadian Maker Project. I cannot for the life of me remember your first name, but you can enlighten me, so I don't have to keep calling you Canadian Maker Project all the time. Right, I don't know if this printer's going to print. There was so much dust on it this afternoon. It was just embarrassing. Right, well, it's doing something. It's, just so you know, Derek, it's a roll of grey PETG from these happy people. Kindly sent me one, so that's kind of cool of them. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, or why I'm doing it. That's me. Ron, of course it is. As in, later. It's not funny, Matthew. Okay. Print job going through. Marvellous. So, Derek, how are you getting on with your super big, massive models? Are they still... are you selling them? That's the important thing. I know you're making them, and I know they turn out absolutely cracking, but are you able to sell them? Is there a market for them? And are you making a profit? Very interesting to know, because I can see you put an awful lot of man hours in, and it would be nice to know it was worthwhile for you. So yeah, let me know. And what are you doing next? I think you should do a full-size version of your wife, as opposed to the 3/4 size version that you're living with at the moment. That's me in trouble. It's not the kind of thing I would get into, Derek, and only because I just haven't got the people around here that would buy that kind of thing, and certainly can't ship them, can you? It's just the kind of thing they have to pick up, and like I say, around here there's just not the market for them at all. But down where you are, I can imagine there's lots of people in man caves and bars and pubs and stuff like that that'll jump at having something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, up here, up north, we don't have that kind of level of ability to sell things on. Ouch, that was loud. Oh, very good. Yeah, I've got that, Derek. Nice. So, profit, which is good. Which is really good. Sorry, I'm watching the printer there. I'm watching that rather than watching you guys. I do apologise. I should be paying more attention to my loyal followers. Sorry. So yeah, at least I've got a picture and I've got some audio. So that's impressive. So yeah, you might find periodically I come on and do something. I'd like to get back into it. I'd like to get that mojo back. I'd like to. I mean, as much as anything, I just enjoyed the crack with you guys when we used to get 15 or 20 of us on, and I would have a large glass of gin sat at the side of me, and we would well, I would talk rubbish and you lot would listen. But yeah, I'd get back to those days, eh? Sorry, I'm watching that again. I know I shouldn't. But I need something to do. I need to find, like, my muse, let's say. I need to find something. I need to build something or strip something down or mess about with something. I might one night I'll bring up that power supply. Like I said, I did a short on it on this big power bank. And it also works as a UPS. That's the good thing about it. I know a lot of these printers have. All right, James. Thanks for bobbing in, mate. I'll talk to you later, buddy. Yeah, I know a lot of these printers have power off recovery, but if you're running like you run a print farm, unless you've got some kind of battery backup, and your power goes off for a good period of time, I'm talking 2 or 3 hours, you could lose prints. Whereas this, like I say, it's a 2000 watt hour power bank with pure sine wave inverter in it. So you can literally have it running your printer, but you can have it in pass-through mode, so it's working off the main, and your mains is just passing through. But the minute there's an interruption, the power bank will take over, and it will continue your print running, and it's something like 0.001 of a second, or something utterly ridiculously low, that it doesn't affect your printer, it doesn't affect computers running or anything. It's a seamless switch over. So as something for people to have as a backup if they're doing important prints. I mean, it's a bit like Derek. If he's printing an Iron Man leg, for instance, because he prints weird things like that, and you have a power cut, yeah, all right, you've got power loss recovery, but it doesn't always work, does it? And like I say, if the print bed cools down and you lose adhesion or whatever, with this, it will just continue to print. And if it'll continue to print, I mean, the Prusa Mini, like I say, would continue printing for 21 hours without power to it. So that's going to finish most of your prints. I mean, I know with some machines it will take longer. I know Neris, whatever you're calling Chris, he's done some stuff by which that once he's got 4 or 5 layers down, if he's doing a PLA print, for instance, he can then turn the heat bed off because the adhesion is then there, which would mean you could run off a battery pack for even longer because you're not keeping that heated bed going as well as the nozzle. But I just think, it's something that's not talked about very often, or I've certainly not seen it talked about very often, and I think it's a decent answer to an issue that people that are producing prints for income could look at. A decent backup system like that. And like I say, if it saves you an 18-hour print, it saves you an 18-hour print. How much is your time worth? I mean, these things retail, they're sort of £900 to £1,000 off Amazon. You could probably get them cheaper going direct or whatever. But how many failures do you have to have before it's paid for itself? It wouldn't be many. I mean, but then of course it depends on how often the power goes out where you are. I mean, I know in some countries it goes out a lot quicker and a lot more often than it does in others. But yeah, I might bring that up one night and we'll set that up, and we'll set it going with maybe this, get it going on the Bambu Labs, and see what sort of figures it comes up with as for how long it will continue printing. That is not sticking to the bed. I can see that's not sticking to the bed. Is it going to attempt to print? I've got the biggest snotty line hanging off the bed there. Sorry, I'm watching the camera again. But yeah, if that's something that you think people would be interested in, speak now. If you think it's a stupid idea and nobody would be the slightest bit interested, also speak now. Oh, Lidal's going. This is not the bed adhesion you are looking for. What's he going to say? Is he going to spit its tummy out, or is he going to attempt to print it? Nope. I think it's going to go for it. Might actually try and print it. We'll have to wait and see. Well, it's chucking down the first layer. Good old Bamboo Labs. Who's stupid? You think my idea's stupid, or you think I'm stupid? No, that's fine, Derek. If you think it's a daft idea, I won't do it. It's I'm trying to find something that's a little bit different that other people haven't thought about, and I've looked to a degree, and I haven't found many other people talking about it. I mean, like I say, I know Chris Nerys has talked about it. He does it with smaller power packs, though. He does it with much smaller power packs. Yeah, the only problem with talking about 3D printing, Derek, is I'm so far out the loop now. It's a bit ridiculous. Like I say, the only thing that sort of spurred me on to even come in the room and look at my computer is because of the A1. And it did spark a little bit of interest in my head. But I think that was more about the fact it was something new, and could this be my in to getting some views on the channel again, and improving the channel. And then I realised everybody on the planet who's got anything like a half decent channel has got one, and he's talking about it. I then suddenly realised that it's not worth buying just for that. Well, it's definitely trying to print something. That's good. That's a pleasure to see. So, what I'm going to do is, guys, I appreciate you dropping in this evening. I do, especially seeing as I've not put any information out there anywhere about this. You see, Derek, I'm not going to go down that road now because I'm just about to switch off, but it looks like a joke to you. And it looks like a joke to you because you've got 3D printers and you've had 3D printers. But you think about it as the parents of a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old child who wants a 3D printer, and they don't want all the heartache and crap that we've had to go through to get 3D printing. I think as a starter machine, you're very difficult to find a better machine without the 4-color AMS that comes with it, which I do agree looks a bit janky, looks a bit wobbly, doesn't look particularly healthy, but if it works, it works. And I think the market they're going for, they're going to get, and I think it's going to work for them. I honestly do. But anyway, that's a chat for another night, maybe, when I have got a gin in my hand. But yeah, no, it's not the sort of thing that anybody like us is going to want, because, like I say, we've moved a long way beyond that. But I think for a first-time machine, I think it's going to do well. It's all those people that will buy the Prusa Mini for the fact it's a good starter machine. I think you're going to find that sales of that are going to go very, very well. Anyway, like I said, thank you, Ron, for bobbing in. I do appreciate it. I hope the print farm keeps going and nothing drops off or spools roll across the floor. I know, James, now you've disappeared, unless you're just pretending to have disappeared and you're still there. Derek, thanks for bobbing in, mate. Much appreciated. I will probably put a little something out there in Twitter /Xland before I consider doing something else. But I just wanted to fire it up, make sure the camera worked, make sure my audio did something, and made sure that the printer fired up, and it appears to be doing that. So we'll leave that to print. See how this PETG turns out, so I can report back to GraphKit on what I think of it. Like I say, cheers for bobbing in, guys. Do appreciate it. You will see me around. I haven't left the planet completely. And now I shall work out how to turn this off. I think it's pressing this button